Software quality, it can be a source of constant frustration, can it? But what if we approached it a little differently? Today, let's explore a calmer, more mindful way to think about building better software. I think we've all been there. It's that quiet frustration. You're in the middle of your work, and that same little glitch just pops up again. It feels like just random bad luck, right? But what if those bugs aren't random at all? What if they're actually trying to send us a message, pointing to something deeper? And look, this isn't just a personal feeling. It's pretty much a universal one. The truth is, buggy software is an incredibly common experience for almost everyone. So you are definitely not alone in feeling that. The real question is, what can we do about it? So instead of going on some aggressive bug hunt, what if we just reframed our thinking? Let's imagine ourselves as mindful detectives, calmly observing, gathering evidence, and looking for the root cause of the mystery, not just chasing symptoms. All right, so our investigation begins with our very first clue. It's a simple but really powerful idea that's going to help us focus our attention exactly where it matters most. This idea is called the Pareto principle, though you might know it as the 80-20 rule. And it's pretty simple. It suggests that in a lot of situations, roughly 80% of the effects come from just 20% of the causes. It's all about finding those critical few things that make the biggest difference. And here's where it gets really interesting for software. Studies have shown that a staggering 80% of all the errors in a program can often be traced back to just 20% of its components. Think about that for a second. We don't have to fix everything all at once. We just need to find that vital few 20%. And that right there, that's the key insight. When you realize that this huge, overwhelming problem might actually stem from a small, manageable source, well, it changes everything. It brings a sense of calm and focus to what used to feel like total chaos. Okay, so how do we actually find that vital 20%? Well, that brings us to our second clue. We need to stop guessing and start, really listening to what the data is telling us. This is really the heart of statistical software quality assurance. It's a very methodical process. So first, you gather all the information you can about the errors and defects. Then you sort them into different categories. And finally, you trace each one all the way back to find its origin story, the real underlying cause. This quote just captures the spirit of the whole thing perfectly. It's not a brute force attack. It's a delicate dissection, a careful, mindful investigation. It's about replacing our assumptions with actual understanding, one piece at a time. So, once we've found the root cause, our investigation takes this really crucial turn. The goal isn't to assign blame, but to improve the system itself. And that brings us to our third and final clue, improving the process gently. And this is such an important distinction. Blaming an individual, well, that creates a culture of fear, where people are afraid to admit they made a mistake. But when you focus on improving the process, you create a space for learning. The problem isn't the person, it's the part of the system that allowed that error to happen in the first place. And it all comes down to this one simple question. What could we have done to prevent this bug in the first place? Just asking that shifts the focus from the past to the future. We correct the process, not just the product, which makes sure this kind of bug has a much harder time ever showing up again. So after our mindful investigation, what's the one simple idea we can carry with us? What does this all really boil down to in our daily lives? It all comes down to this. Spend your time focusing on the things that really, truly matter. It's about identifying those critical few things that give you the biggest results. Whether you're fixing code, studying for an exam, or starting a project, just find that vital 20% that's going to deliver 80% of the impact. Understand what really matters and give it your focused attention. And in the end, this pursuit of quality isn't just a technical exercise. It's a human one. When we mindfully build better, more reliable things, what we're really doing is showing care and respect for the person on the other end. It's a quiet act of empathy, just making their day a little bit smoother. And that is a thought worth holding on to.